DataAnnotation.Tech in 2025 is still paying out thousands of dollars for work. Alongside working a full-time job, I earned over $10,000 from DataAnnotation.Tech in a year. I had access to more work than I could ever complete and was earning thousands of dollars a month before I lost access to all my projects and was unable to complete work on the site. But after seeing some comments requesting an update on how DataAnnotation.Tech is in 2025, I thought I'd better give you a review on how the site's going. My girlfriend's still working on the site, so I can let you know how the site's changed, if it's still worth working on, how to get into a position where you have unlimited work, and how to avoid getting kicked from the site like I did. DataAnnotation.Tech is now accepting workers from a much wider range of countries. Originally, they only accepted workers from a few English-speaking countries, but as we can see from their LinkedIn, they are now hiring from Asia. As you can see, there's jobs in India, South Korea, Vietnam, Malaysia and Thailand, most of Europe, Africa and South America. If you have a look, I'm sure you'll be able to find a role they're hiring for your country. As you can see from when I worked on the site, they can offer basically an unlimited amount of work, easily enough to do multiple hours each day. And as you can see now, there isn't as many projects available currently, but still more than enough to consistently work on, and look at how many qualifications there are available. If she actually put some time into this, she could easily have as many projects as I used to. The site does occasionally have droughts, and I believe there is one currently, judging from what people have been saying on Reddit. But that's to be expected with these type of sites, and as long as you still have a few projects to work on, you can still work. There's a wide range of work available on the site. There's still a lot of projects that are based on having a conversation with a chatbot. Some projects involve creative writing, some involve recording speech, and others are image based. There does seem to be a lot more specialist knowledge based work available now as well. As you can see here, they're interested in any science degrees, but if you have specialist knowledge in other areas, that could help you as well. One area sites like this are always looking for is coding and maths. When working on the site, you might start out with only a few projects to work on, and the way to gain access to more is to keep putting in good quality work on the projects you do have available. This will then lead to you gaining access to more projects. They may be added into your available work to complete, or you may gain access to them through a qualification. In my experience, qualifications are the main way that you'll be able to gain access to long-term projects that you can continuously rely on for work. Through a qualification, I got my favourite project that I made most of my money from. After putting in high quality work on that project, I was able to work on some of its variants, which was similar to the initial project but slightly harder or more complicated. This came with a pay rise. Qualifications typically involve learning the project's guidelines and then completing a few of the project's tasks, which will then be checked to see if you can complete the project correctly. I found the instructions for most projects on DataAnnotation.Tech to be great. They were detailed and the time spent reading through them was typically paid, which shows that they care about the quality of work over the quantity. You can reread through the instructions as and when you need to if you're unsure about anything. Some projects on the site also have a Slack channel, which you can use to ask questions about the project. I found the Slack channel for my main project extremely useful, as you can see questions other workers have asked, which may be things you aren't sure on either. It can also be great for getting new ideas on how to interact with the AI. DataAnnotation.Tech offers an unbeatable level of flexibility. They allow you to work whenever you want, as often or as little as you want. My girlfriend barely works on the site, and whenever she signs in, she always has projects. DataAnnotation.Tech also allows you to work from wherever. If you're going on holiday and want to work whilst away, you can email them and then you're good to go. That's how I was able to work whilst travelling in South America. The pay rates I've seen for tasks typically start at $20 an hour. I've personally had projects that paid $30 an hour, and I know specialist knowledge roles can pay $40 an hour and potentially more. Through DataAnnotation.Tech, I was able to earn $500 a week alongside a full-time job, and that was without access to any coding or specialist knowledge projects. You really can earn a substantial amount, and people have earned over $100,000 from the site already. This could be an excellent side hustle for anyone. You log and report your own time that you've worked on the site. I always recommend people to use a stopwatch on their phones or on another tab so you can easily pause and restart it if you need to. You're then paid accordingly to the time you log, and they can check if you're over-reporting your time worked. The site pays through PayPal, and once you've joined a PayPal account to your DataAnnotation.Tech account, you can't change it. I recently had a commenter asking me about this, as their PayPal account was limited and they couldn't get paid into it. So make sure to link the correct PayPal to your DataAnnotation.Tech account, otherwise you won't be able to be paid. You can choose when to withdraw the money you've earned. There's a 7-day waiting period from when you complete the work to when you're able to withdraw the money. I used to withdraw my earnings once a week just because it made it easier to track. If you're finding this video useful, please leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on more videos like this. One of the major negatives of DataAnnotation.Tech is the lack of feedback. It's very rare to actually receive feedback on any work you've done, which can lead to being unsure on if you're making mistakes. This worker on Reddit states that if you have projects, that's your positive feedback, and if you don't have projects, then that's your negative feedback. But it would be good to be informed if you're doing something wrong, and maybe feedback on the site will be further developed in the future. Because currently, the only way you realise that you've been doing something wrong is when you sign into an empty dashboard and are never given any work again. As you know, this is what happened to me and has happened to many other workers. And whilst it may seem unpreventable, there are a few things that you can do to help. Make sure to stay up to date on the instructions. These can sometimes change, or you may forget things that you've read. As the time reading instructions is paid, there's no real reason not to do this, and it can only benefit you. Another thing that I'd be cautious of is trying to cram in as many hours as possible. I've seen so many workers on Reddit complaining for being kicked, but then admitting to working 15-hour shifts on the site. Working massive shifts like this will lead to mistakes and a drop in quality. This will result in you being kicked from the site, like this worker. Another thing that many people would say is a negative is the starter assessment you have to pass to gain access to the site. This features multiple different types of questions, and if you fail the assessment, you cannot work on the site. I cover how to answer the different types of questions you may see in my video here, which has helped thousands of people to gain access to the site.